Graham Davis is the man going through the papers today, political consultant that he is, and you see leading our news, Graham, as your first story in the Daily Mail puts it, March of the State Spies.
Well, it's not just terrorists that are being targeted. The local authority applications have also dealt with people who were suspected of storing petrol without a licence, those suspected of bringing a dog into the country without quarantining it, and those suspected of littering. Frighteningly, it seems as though Big Brother is now not only watching you, it's watching your dogs and your bins.
Yes, but you know what? I mean, you say that. I worked as a bin man for 2 weeks doing a documentary programme, and it is very, very upsetting and annoying to watch people who deliver, and we're talking large-scale people who dump mattresses and who fly dump and use skips and all sorts of things like that. It's a big problem for local councils, and they cost us all a lot of money.
I don't think it's the rubbish mafia we're talking about here. These are people who are involved in individual incidences of litter who have had reports of being targeted. I don't really think that actually warrants someone's telephone being tapped.
What do you make of the argument if you've done nothing wrong, you've got nothing to worry about?
Well, that's always the anti-Orwellian argument that we're always going to have. But unfortunately, people are surveyed. There's lots of mistakes made in this. There have been hundreds of applications made where it turns out the telephone numbers were wrongly observed, not exactly the right suspects. It has to be much better standards.
OK, we want your views on this. News@sky.com. Are you for or against the snooping that goes on? 500,000 requests a year. We go to the front page of The Guardian. This is very disturbing. 500 children a year abducted from the UK. Under what circumstances?
Well, of course, it tends to be when marriages are from people of different nationalities and often from different cultures and different religious backgrounds. The cases aren't often publicised because, of course, they're dealt in family courts where names are kept secret. And there's been an estimate that in 40% of cases, the government can do nothing about it because the countries to which the children have been abducted to are not signatories to the Hague Treaty, which deals with this sort of situation. And the only thing that can be done is to apply subtle diplomatic pressure, and that often doesn't lead to the best results.
Then is this not all too subtle? Subtle pressure, subtle headline, subtle information here, because not many people know this goes on.
No, they don't, and I think that it is something that should be publicised. It should be the source of much more counselling, and actually there still has to be much more work done by the Foreign Office to try and encourage more signatories to the treaty.
The Environment Secretary, Hilary Benn, was on the programme about half an hour ago, and we were talking about best before labels, and this gets us to the Daily Telegraph.
Well, best before, he seems to think might be not useful and terribly misleading, although the idea of eating before a particular date when it becomes dangerous does seem to be a good idea in his mind. I think he's encouraging us all to go back to the single man's test in the fridge, just checking to see whether there's no penicillin or insects crawling on it.
If the milk has curdled or not. What do you like with your fridge, Louise? Are you good about throwing things out?
I find the dates quite confusing, and normally I'd ignore them. And it's just I use a sight and smell. It's common sense, really, isn't it? But then a lot of people don't have common sense when it comes to food,
I would imagine myself ill. If I had something and the date wasn't right on it, and it wouldn't matter if it looked right to me, I would think, oh, I feel all odd and queasy because I've had that.
It's things, if you look at things like cream, for example, oh, you're so healthy. And you look at the date that it's telling you to chuck it out, you smell it, you taste it, it's absolutely fine. Same with milk. You know.
Well, look at my fridge. Frankly, there isn't the same problem with beer and wine.
That says it all, really. OK, we go now to The Times. Mandelson takes charge of the country. This is from tomorrow, isn't it?
Well, he's, of course, been accused of
this afternoon, I think
of running the country from a mobile phone. Unfair. He had his BlackBerry with him as well. He has now said that he wants to make sure that there is much more of a voice heard from this country in relation to Brussels legislation. And that's fine, of course, as long as he's the voice, apparently. His room in the Cabinet Office has been described, there's no delusions of grandeur, it's been described as being slightly smaller than a tennis court. So it's good to see that he's got a real grasp of reality.
No, you see, but actually, I quite like this man's style in a way, because a lot of them put on a false hair shirt. Oh, we don't holiday abroad, we don't use jets, we don't do all this. But then they're not in touch because everybody wants to do that. You know, you get politicians who, oh, they wouldn't possibly buy a plasma television or a new car, but everybody else in the world wants to do these things.
With Peter Peter Mandelson, there is no doubt that the ego has landed.
OK. But he's got a very good suntan for just being away for a week, it has to be said. And if you're a bit upset about your holiday photographs, and let's face it, who isn't? There's a lot of deletes that go on in the digital camera. Hope may be at hand.
Well, at Happy Snaps, apparently they can do plastic surgery without the knife.
Now, we've got two examples there, before, after girl, left and right. What's happened on the right? This is the after shot.
Well, it works by squeezing the image in the middle.
Oh, we like that.
So that the main object in focus looks thinner. You can reduce a woman's appearance by a single dress size. Men can have tattoos removed, they can have their teeth whitened, they can look less flabby. And so just think, Eamon, you can have a perfect physical version of Eamon, not just on television, but in your wallet as well.
Can they do man breasts?
Well, they can actually make them just look a bit more firmer.
That's what
just a little bit more gym-like.
Now we just need that to work on television cameras and everybody will be happy. Wouldn't it just be wonderful? Not that you have anything to worry about, LaQuesa.
It's the makeup ladies, they're wonderful.
Yes, remember there are no wrinkles on a balloon, remember that. That nice round face of yours is lovely. Graham, thank you very much indeed. Lovely talking to you. Thank you very much. Top stories are